You've almost certainly seen a JCDecaux display. There are thousands in London alone. In fact, they are so ubiquitous that you may not even know who JCDecaux are. Well, they make advertising screens for outdoor spaces and litter cities across the world, including New York, London, Glasgow, Bangkok, and so many more. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was in Bangkok, and much of the city is quite modern, and naturally this means that there are JCDecaux screens everywhere. I just had to search up their valuation because I'd never really considered JCDecaux as a significant transnational company. But with a market cap of over $3.3 billion US, I wanted to figure out how. This is the story of JCDecaux. So, in 1955, 18-year-old Jean-Claude Decaux starts a company selling advertising billboards on the side of motorways. And remember, Jean-Claude's not even an adult yet by local French law. Now, he's just spent 2 years working for his parents' store, putting posters around town for them and other local businesses too. And he's sick of it. He wants to be independent, driving him to begin this company of his. Now, the problem is, motorways in France at the time are usually lined with trees. So, to put a billboard up, you have to cut down some trees. So here Jean-Claude was, cutting down trees to make French roads uglier. And as you can imagine, the French aren't very happy at this point. So in 1964, the government imposes sky-high taxes on companies which offered roadside advertising. Jean-Claude's business becomes an unwinnable equation overnight. So, the same year, Jean-Claude starts his next company. JCDecaux is born.
Très importante, une nouvelle idée, mais ce qui a été encore plus important, ça a été tout le service qui a accompagné cette nouvelle idée, et surtout la vision de très rapidement essayer de les internationaliser.
Jean-Claude realizes that many bus stops are unsheltered, and those with shelters are typically in horrendous condition with smashed windows and whatnot. So one day, an idea strikes him. He could add value to the people by building bus shelters whilst integrating billboard into the sides instead of windows to help finance the structures, and of course taking a profit for himself. Thus were born the idea of both street furniture and advertising on a 2-meter squared billboard. Jean-Claude just invented a new business model, one that no other company will manage to master as well as him for the next 60 years. But remember, Jean-Claude will do anything to become independent and answer to no one but himself. So, Jean-Claude also realizes that, alongside these bus shelters, he needs to provide a more complete service to the companies who wish to advertise on them, and Jean-Claude places great emphasis on becoming an international brand as quickly as he could manage. So Jean-Claude excitedly gives an electrifying pitch of his revolutionary, but immensely risky, ideas to the mayor of Lyon, who quickly offers Jean-Claude his first contract, consisting of 40 shelters in the city. From the get-go, Jean-Claude focuses on this idea of public benefit and making cities a nicer place to live in. I don't sell square meters. I sell spaces that are clean and well lit. Now obviously this is wrong, but you get the idea. Jean-Claude is an urban visionary and billboards are just his way to fund his crazy new ideas. Of course, Jean-Claude is rather successful, and over the coming decades he aggressively expands into more than 50 countries and soon becomes the second largest player on the global stage. As Jean-Claude ages, he wants his legacy to remain strong and brings on a couple of his sons to take over the company as co-CEOs. Now, Jean-Claude has built his company with his ethos rooted deeply within it, and he taught his sons the maxim that what is worth doing is worth the pain of being well done. He prided himself on coming up with innovative solutions and collaborating with universities to form multidisciplinary teams that can solve real urban challenges. But through my research, I've noticed a couple peculiar things. So JCDecaux's co-CEOs, Jean-François and Jean-Charles, are very corporate sounding, both in their online posts and crucially also in every single interview that I've seen them do. They have a much greater focus on the financials of the business and keeping it growing as much as they possibly can. In fact, even in the interview we had earlier where Jean-Charles was speaking alongside his dad, Jean-Charles kept drawing the conversation towards the business side, whilst his dad kept trying to keep it on the ethos of the company. Perhaps rightly so though, given that their stocks growth has been non-existent since the IPO 24 years ago, around about when Jean-Claude stepped back from CEO. And their revenue is even a tad higher than their market cap. So despite yielding profits and being the biggest player in the industry, JCDecaux just isn't such a great investment. Although, as we discovered in last week's episode with Michael Dell, you may be significantly wealthier than your stagnant company. Jean-Claude, after all, died a very wealthy man with $7 billion attributed to him and his family. But the company tries to stay relevant. Their website maintains strong signs of the core values, emphasizing their attention to grassroots design, providing value to communities, and continuously growing. They even showcase some funky projects. There's this Lego-sponsored relaxation area in Shanghai Airport, whatever that's supposed to be. But they also upgraded hundreds of old urinals across Paris to modern, efficient, and hygienic solutions in time for the latest Olympic Games. And JCDecaux's commitment to the people shone through when Notre Dame experienced a devastating fire in 2019. The very next day, JCDecaux announced a €20 million donation among various other initiatives to help rebuild it. So, on the one hand, whilst Jean-Claude's sons only ever seemingly defend the financials of the advertising giant and give classic corporate wash to questions like these.
But how pedantic am I by asking this question? There is nothing green and 21st century about digital advertising on boards where before it was some bloke 5 a.m. in the morning putting out with his mop and what have you. It's a lot more. It's a hell of a
using a car.
It's a hell of a lot more energy needed to power your digital advertising around the globe.
Yes. This year, we will achieve cover 75% of our electrical consumption with green energy.
Sure.
And we will reach 100% green energy by 2022, which is one of the
The company has also remained true to its missions from 61 years ago and continues to have a global dominance in the outdoor digital advertising space, boasting 1 million panels across 80 countries and powered by 11,000 employees. JCDecaux have expanded into so many avenues, finding their way into every part of our modern cities and taking on some huge projects, particularly in London. For as long as humans leave their homes and roam the cities without a screen attached to their faces, JCDecaux will continue their work. So, the next time you're rushing to catch your train, take a moment to look up and you may just see Jean-Claude Decaux's initials. Now, I've linked to the latest message from the Decaux brothers down in the source list below if you want to check out how they're doing and even see their latest designs for the humble bus shelter that their father popularized many years ago. Though I'm certainly intrigued that they've been releasing videos of some really creative and, quite frankly, interactive advertising panels for 14 years. And yet, I swear I haven't seen a single one of these in real life. I mean, have you? Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed this story, smash those like and subscribe buttons. The full episode can be found in the description alongside our weekly newsletter and the sources that we used. Bye.